South America, home to the Amazon jungle, Andes mountain range, dry Atacama desert, and some of the greatest and toughest roads on the planet. The Dominar Polar Odyssey is now on its final leg. The end is near, but it's taken a long and memorable journey to get here. 3 Indian riders embarked on an odyssey that would stretch from the North Pole to the South Pole, spanning 99 days, 51,000 kilometers and 15 countries. Since no motorable path existed through the 106-kilometer-long Darien Gap between Panama and Colombia, the riders had no choice but to airlift the bikes to Bogota. But once in the Colombian capital, the team was all ready to begin the first day of the last leg of this epic odyssey.
It's a beautiful morning as we leave Bogota, Colombia. We'll be sticking on to Highway 45. Let's see how the roads of Colombia are.
While riding south towards the town of Mocoa, the team was thrilled when they met a Colombian Pulsar fan club.
That's the team that is taking us. So there's a Pulsar there, and Byron himself rides the Dominar.
Las redes sociales.
Thank you so much.
But somehow, all roads were not as friendly as the people of Colombia.
Crossed the Putumayo River and headed towards the Equator border. Hardly about 5 or 6 kilometers after the place, the road's all gone. It's all gravels.
Once past the Ecuador border, a stunning ride through the Evergreen Amazon Rainforest welcomed the riders. And soon, another milestone of the Odyssey was crossed. The team made it past the Equator in Quito. Even though the rainforest ride was a great highlight for the riders, they reached new heights by riding on roads beyond 9,000 feet above sea level.
One of the highest points. This is beautiful. Looks like heaven. I've not been there. This is what the landscape looks like at 9,500 feet above sea level.
Though the journey was going south towards Peru, the road continued to take the riders higher and higher to elevations that dwarfed the surrounding landscape.
A little short of breath because we are at quite a few elevation. The Andes mountain ranges extend all the way from Venezuela into Colombia, into Ecuador, Peru, and going all the way down to Chile. Altitude of about 4 to 10, 12,000 feet above sea level all the time.
Passing the border at Macara into Peru was seamless. But the team did encounter a sandstorm as they made their way to the Sechura desert.
Look around, guys. There's nothing but desert, desert, desert.
The entire ride through Peru was similar to a desert safari on 2 wheels, dotted by the Pacific coast on one side and the Andes mountains on the other.
We've been passing through the Sechura desert. The mountains that you see is all sand. Just look at the beautiful sand dunes out there.
But the riders were not alone. Adventure seekers from around the world often unite to share the joy of touring.
350 or 500?
This is a 400.
400?
Yep.
Oh, well, excellent.
We can stick stickers, yes.
The machines were pushed daily on these desert plains, covering several hundred kilometers in a single day.
We have about 450 kilometers to go today. Check out my background. Isn't it beautiful?
After crossing the Peru-Bolivia border at Lake Titicaca, the Dominars stood face to face with one of the most challenging routes of this journey.
Trying to do the Yunga, the death road, and supposedly the second most dangerous road in the world.
Connecting the Amazonian rainforest to the capital city, the North Yunga Road, commonly known as the Death Road, is surrounded by mountainous terrain and terrifying cliffs.
This is the death road. Very narrow. With a sharp curve, you don't know whether a vehicle is coming on the other side. Pretty foggy, there's a lot of mist. So that becomes a challenge.
In this Odyssey, we have ridden some of the most dangerous roads in the world. The Dalton Highway, the Dempster Highway, Death Road, the epitome, the most dangerous road in the world. The rubber of these Dominars is holding through the groughs. How the brakes are responding to every call. The terror of the death road is evaporating in thin air.
Conquering the death road was truly a monumental task. After descending the mountain twisties, the riders continued south towards Uyuni. But this time they faced a truly flat desert road.
Absolute straight line roads. I feel like Mad Max.
Uyuni was the gateway to the famous Salar de Uyuni,
Salar de Uyuni.
the world's largest salt flats and a pilgrimage for riders from around the globe.
Historic landmark again. We are at the Salar de Uyuni. Bolivia, the largest salt flat in the world.
Past the flat salt plains, the riders had to then cross 275 kilometers of dry, dusty gravel road to reach the Chilean border. The Chilean desert land was dotted with barren lakes, active volcanoes, and wind speeds that made it a challenging ride.
I'm now at the Tropic of Capricon. All the 3 lines have been done, dusted, closed.
But even in the middle of nowhere, this land held its share of surprises.
Massive palm sculpture right in the middle of the desert. See this? Just in the midst of nowhere.
The road through the Atacama desert was unlike any other desert in the world. Known as one of the driest places on the planet, the landscape here was often compared to the surface of Mars.
And finally, the ride across the majestic Atacama desert.
The Pan American Route 5 section is so straight and straight.
Even access to fuel remained a difficulty in this arid land.
The situation has, come up where we need to stop and refuel before moving on.
And there were times the riders needed to hit the offbeat trails around the highway just to make sure their minds remained active through the torturous desert straits.
The suspension setup absorbs what the trails throw at you with aplomb. On the endless straight roads and hot temperature, cruising at speeds above 130 kilometers per hour all day, and Dominars are showing no signs of stress whatsoever.
Soon, there was a dramatic change to the landscape. The riders were crossing mountain passes and then flat greenery as they neared the Argentinian border. The way ahead was surrounded by beauty at every corner. Mountains, flatlands, all roofed by clear blue skies.
Ever since we have entered Argentina, this is what we've been seeing.
As the riders neared the southern tip of the continent, the dipping temperature and frigid winds started to take a toll. The Odyssey had endured 97 days of riding through every terrain and landscape imaginable. Now, it was time for the last run of this epic adventure.
Argentina and Chile. Now, this is what's going to take us across to Ushuaia. That's one side of the shore of Chile, and we are now going towards this side.
Over 50,000 kilometers traveled, hundreds of towns, both great and small, explored, and 2 entire continents tamed. The Dominar Polar Odyssey had completed the pole-to-pole adventure and reached its final destination at Ushuaia.
Now, this is where the road ends.
51,000 kilometers to this place from the time we started.
And here are the 3 Dominars that have come in absolute style. Look at this, the Canyon Red Dominar 3442 at Southernmost, which is the end, the road's end for Argentina.
The Polar Odyssey was a true test for the Dominar. The adventures, people, terrains, hardships, and record-breaking accomplishments all made this expedition beyond special, redefining the bar for sports touring. A spectacular accomplishment completed by a wonderful bond between man and machine. But the Odyssey wasn't over yet. One more record still remained to be conquered. Could the Dominar become the first Indian bike to ride the ice sheets of Antarctica? Stay tuned for the final episode.